So from the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! It's time!
Let's be honest, footballers, always had a room for extraordinary and the unexpected. But this is statistically bizarre. Even the standards set in the Ghana Premier League, not even the legendary Ishmaelado, Joe Famiye, Prince Tego, Eric Bequin, any others could match it. Atakumi's 6-goal explosion is a performance that will continuously spark debate for a very long time. And I don't see how a player who averages 0.42 goals per game is able to score 6. Charlie, 6. And before that match, the numbers were just clear. 14 goals in 32 matches.
He has outperformed his XG.
No, I don't get it. Nothing in that profile suggests a player who suddenly turns into a one-man demolition machine.
I'm not sure Ronaldo has even scored 6 in a game.
Charlie.
Ronaldo scored 5 in a game.
Charlie.
Messi scored, I think, 5 or 4 in a game. But I don't remember them scoring 6 in a professional game. Maybe they did in their amateur times or whatever. But now it's amazing. And it reminds me of a couple of years ago when Emmanuel Clotti, final game of the season, I think it was against, was it Bequin? No, it wasn't against Bequin. It was against one of the Kotoko strikers. And that player scored 5 in their final game of the season. Then fast forward 4 years ago, Yawano versus Etuga. Again, Yawano exploded and scored whatever number of goals in the final day. And then Atakumi. But the point is that the people who plan and orchestrate these things, like what really goes through their minds? So like when they are doing these things, like what's the motive? I mean, the motive, of course, is to get the player to be goalkeeper or whatever. But again, do they think about the how do I put it? The sort of picture that they paint about the Ghana Premier League, about their team, and then the officials surrounding the team, like the optics. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. Do they think about the optics? Because it makes no sense. And these acts contribute to the loss of credibility of our Premier League. I always say one thing: we haven't had a headline sponsor for our league for a very long time. I'm not sure if it's 5 years now or what, but sponsors are always throwing money in to support the Black Stars and the GFA. If you count the number of sponsorships that the GFA have been able to raise for other ventures, the Black Stars, the GFA themselves, and other things, and you ask yourself, why can't any company, or why won't any company sponsor the Premier League? It's one of these things, because no brand wants to associate themselves with filth. And excuse my word, filth, I would say. Filth. Bet Power sponsored the league, and halfway they pulled out. They said, listen, give me my money back. I'm not going to do this nonsense again. Like, how? Like, I'm not saying it's impossible for a player to score 6 in a game, but Atakumi, how? Listen, even Hearts of Oak's game against Mediama, I think there are a lot of question marks around it. Hearts of Oak struggled to score 1 goal a game. All of a sudden, they scored 4 on their final day. On the final day against Mediama.
So are you saying Atakumi is a microcosm of the ills of the league?
The Debia bro, for I say now microcosm. Last time you see, why now we turn someone into
but yes, in all this, football is full of statistical outliers, and strikers have had, they turn things into gold. Deflections, defensive lapses, momentum swings, sheer confidence, all combining into something unrepeatable. But when these games do happen, they are even rare enough, and they don't normally even happen on the final day to feel suspicious in the moment. Perception is powerful, and that is what these clubs forget. They may be thinking we are doing Atakumi good, getting him numbers to go and score. But Charlie, when the agent, when the scout, when the club comes, they don't think about the numbers. They look at how professional and transparent the goals were scored with credibility and consistency. But this is how our football has become. The FA have even congratulated Atakumi that it was an extraordinary individual performance from him on the day.
Which it was.
Yes, and unless there is clear, verifiable explanation for what happened on the pitch, the debate will continue to overshadow the scoreline itself. And for some of us, we can only sit and watch. Hello, guys. Yes, we're done with all those stuff. They can continue to do whatever they want. When the players start selling the matches, they will come again and then try to rebrand the league. But our focus is on a special episode today of the 50-50 Football Podcast. Not the usual conversation, but a focused build-up to the UEFA Champions League Final. 6 days, one last stretch, one final chapter waiting to be written. From red-draped streets, where Arsenal fans finally exhaled after a 22-year wait for the Premier League crown, to Paris Saint-Germain, where Mikel Arteta and his side now stand on the brink of European immortality in the UEFA Champions League Final. They themselves will be looking forward to repeating what Real Madrid did years ago by winning the Champions League back-to-back. But football never pauses. It only tightens its grip. We'll wait to see who gets into that. But don't forget, from South London, Oliver Glasner's Crystal Palace will have to chase a historic first taste of continental glory. How would they be able to manage this? But don't forget that there should be an ode to one phenomenal player where Manchester continues to revolve around Bruno Fernandes, the creative heartbeat and emotional engine of the club, still searching for its next great era. Welcome to the 50-50 Football Podcast, the special edition of the preview of the UEFA Champions League and the Conference League. My name is Kelvin Owuswanta, and I am doing this with Kweku Safu Didi and Nanamufa Mangana as we break down the stakes, the stories, and the pressure heading into football's biggest night. Where football is never just football. 50% passion is 50% perspective and 100% story. Hello, guys.
Mr. Intro Man.
Man will give all the intro they talk about why North London for. Hey!
I thought by now you would have exhausted intros, but
I
you
mentioned
keep
South
surprising
London.
me.
This South London for Crystal Palace. Eh?
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so before we get into it, how did you celebrate the Premier League trophy, the victory? 22 years in the making.
I saw him fist bumping and what do you call it? Side hugs.
That was an old video, you know. Unfortunately, I couldn't celebrate with the Arsenal fans. You know, in the whole of Accra, there were so many places, from the Heritage Brewery to the Good Park at the Accra Mall, to the UK Ambassador's Residence, to Alisa Hotel. I just couldn't appear anywhere. I was, tight at a football clinic, which was hosted by Manchester City. And you can understand how ironic it was.
The irony.
Yes.
The irony in the enemy's camp.
Exactly.
In the enemy's camp.
An event at Manchester City. So at the Marriott Hotel, where Manchester City took 3 days with coaches from the academy to train. Now about 30 kids from Ghana to give them, of treatment and training that is given to the academy in Europe. So I was there and I couldn't, join. I had to just be at their watch party and then just keep by so I don't reach the City fans there. So that was what happened. I just couldn't celebrate. But I'm just hoping that this weekend will come good in Budapest, where Arsenal will be victorious.
At the Puskás Arena. Puskás Arena.
Yeah.
How poetic it would be if someone scores a Puskás where they go, right?
Charlie.
Calvin, I think you should have celebrated.
Hey.
Why?
Calvin, I think you should have celebrated.
Oh, but I did celebrate when we won it.
Because you won on Saturday.
Yeah.
Hey. Prophetical.
You won. The oracle has spoken. You won on Saturday.
Hey, Calvin.
You know, they always say that
you have to perform right. Too.
Revelations are given, yes, so that it is overturned.
That's right.
I thank you for handling this. So I'll go and overturn it.
Come with a white sheep, and I'll overturn it for you.
No, I think it's interesting because over the weekend, Arteta rested his players for the final. So he started with Arrizabalaga in post, Zubimendi, Mosquera, Hincapié, Calafiori. Do you think he's telling us that Zubimendi might possibly play right back in the final?
No.
Because you're missing Ben White and Llorentimba, aren't you?
I think he's still going to use Mosquera. So. He's never going to do that. He can't risk Zubimendi that. You ask yourself, how crucial.
Zubimendi versus Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, he's going to be.
That would be sacrifice. It will be a bloodbath.
And you
He
know
couldn't
what
In a
even
he's hoping,
bloodbath.
He couldn't
what
even
he's
handle
hoping for
Dogu.
is Arsenal race against time and then get, Julian Timber fit for the final.
I think
And
it'll be
even
too
if,
early for him.
yeah,
It'll be
but
too
even if
early
he's
for
going to
him.
play 45, he started doing pitch work. So yeah, so
Against Kvaratskhelia, a very motivated Kvaratskhelia.
yes, and they don't care. They don't care.
Informed
They
Kvaratskhelia.
don't care putting him there for 45 minutes. He does the job for 45, and then Mosquera comes on to finish with the 45. That is what I'm sure Arteta will be thinking. But he won't risk Zubimendi there. Maybe if anyone is supposed to go back, it may have to be Declan Rice, but nobody would agree.
I don't think he's going to take Declan Rice out of the midfield. He needs, in fact, he's the most important figure in the middle for this game. Listen, I'm not a Declan Rice fan anyway. I don't think he particularly excels at any single thing in football. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm saying he's okay in every area. Anyway, that's besides the point. Exactly. So that's besides the point. But I think for the type of game you guys are going to play against, I think you guys should play against PSG. He would be the most important player in the midfield because you guys would want to be very physical against them to disrupt their rhythm and flow and balance. I think it's very important that you guys do that. And I think you would need him because, and so I'm not surprised he was rested. He didn't start the game. Max Dalman, Martinelli, Madueke, and Gabriel Jesus started. Miles Lewis Kelly, though, played a pivotal role in the semi-final to get you guys in the final. Do you think, and getting to the latter, in this latter stages of the season, he's been playing a lot in midfield, came out of the shadows. Do you think he will start in the final?
I don't think he's going to start Miles Lewis Kelly. He's just going to do a Zubimendi, Rice, and then Odegaard. I think that's it. And there's one thing that we are all forgetting, that Arteta gladly has Mikel Merino back.
I think he'll be a good option off the bench, though.
Yes. So I think he'll just play Rice, play Zubimendi, and then play Odegaard. Trust you me, in the final, he won't start Eze. He will not.
So Eze doesn't start, right?
He's not going to start Eze.
If he's going to start on the left,
Trossard. He'll stick to Trossard.
And on the right, Saka.
And on the right,
who starts, Havertz or
That
Gyökeres?
is where the problem lies. And I think that
I think he favors Havertz, though, but I think Gyökeres should play.
I think Gyökeres should start because of the bullish nature of Pacho. And Marquinhos will not allow you to have a field day. And as much as he's not your most, tall or stout, defender, you may think that yes, he will bully you, but he will not allow you to have a field day. And I think that when you have someone to just, battle them, and then Bukayo Saka, Odegaard, and the likes feed on the scraps, will work. But let's see.
Kelvin, and one more thing. One other thing about the profile of Gyökeres, he runs the channels a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And what we've seen about Marquinhos this season at his age, on the wrong side of 30, once you isolate him, draw him into the corners, he's very vulnerable. He's very vulnerable.
How often will Arsenal play the ball into the channels? Because that's what
they did against Atletico Madrid. They played the balls into the channels. So it was very interesting.
If that is how Arteta wants to play, then they'll have to play Miles Lewis Kelly.
I think Miles Lewis Kelly will play mostly because he's a fullback. If he can adjust for positional awareness, he should be able to play in right back.
Who? Miles Lewis Kelly should play at right back?
No, left. No, he's a left footer.
No, he's very left footed though.
Yes,
he's extremely left footed.
He's very left footed.
No. And Kelly will just put the ball on his right hand side and.
Oh, he will, and that boy too. He's susceptible to making silly fouls. He would
even on his left
get a red card by the first half.
Yeah.
But a bit of historical context, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is the second Champions League final in Arsenal's club history. The very first Champions League final was in 2006, and Kelvin, bitter memories of 2006 against Barcelona.
Yeah.
Arsenal started the game very, very well, especially with the attacks by Emmanuel Lebu on the right, playing against Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, remember?
Yes.
Unfortunately,
Julie.
That's another good shout for him. Unfortunately, Arsenal's goalkeeper Jens Lehmann received a red card on Samuel Eto'o, which I think was very harsh because Julie had already scored the goal, and I think the referee should have allowed the
taken the goal, and then the game should have continued.
Exactly. The game should have continued there, but the referee decided to disallow the goal and show Jens Lehmann the red card, which was very unfortunate.
And Jens
Lehmann went ahead.
Jens Lehmann on Sunday after the game spoke to Raya and told him, "Okay, yes, we know the final is coming up. Please, don't take a red card. Stay in the game, and I know we are going to
don't be like me."
Yeah, yes, don't be like.
Because with the sort of game Arsenal played that day, had it been 11v11, I think Barcelona would have struggled. Because even with 10v11, Arsenal struggled to get the equalizer and even the final goal. I think poor goalkeeping from Manuel Almunia led to those 2 goals, because both 2 goals were on the near post. The equalizer by Samuel Eto'o, right? So good pass from Iniesta, gets to Henrik Larsson, who, basically controls the ball for Samuel Eto'o, latches onto it and slots it past Almunia in post, who had come on after the red card, he came on for Jens Lehmann. And then the second goal, I think it was Juliano Belletti, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yeah.
From right back, he played a 1-2, went into, and then basically nutmegged Almunia. So Arsenal lost 2-1. But the other interesting bit is that PSG have also been to the final on 2 separate occasions. This is going to be their 3rd final. Remember, they lost 1-0 to Bayern Munich. Remember Kingsley Coman's goal in the second half. And then they won 5-0, which amazing performance, 5-star performance by PSG against the aging Inter Milan side. I think it's a scoreline that the Milan faithful wouldn't want to ever remember, right? And then after that, this is their next final. But then between it's actually very balanced. They've met 7 times. Arsenal have won twice. PSG have won twice. And they've drawn 3 times. And the interesting thing is that before their semi-final victory, the double victory over Arsenal, they had never won against Arsenal. So their first victory against Arsenal was that 1-0 win at the Emirates. And then the return leg, they won 2-1. In a game, Arsenal played very, very, very well. Very, very well. So I think, neither side really has a psychological edge. I think PSG, on the other hand, have that experience playing in the final and they've won it. So they have that sort of experience. They have that sort of swagger in terms of playing in the final. They have that. They have that for them. And then let's not forget again the Puskás Arena. 65,000 capacity, first ever Champions League final being hosted there. A stadium in Budapest named after the legendary Real Madrid striker, Ferenc Puskás, whose name adorns the Goal of the Season award by FIFA, right? So, like I mentioned earlier, it would be very poetic if someone scores a wonder goal to be voted for the Puskás award later this year. I think based off of the pitch size alone, again, it's not a compact pitch. It's a very wide, expansive pitch. Remember the Camp Nou of old?
Yeah.
I think that alone favors PSG a little bit because of how they like to play expansive football and their quick vertical transition game. I think that favors them a little bit. I'm not saying it favors them so much, but I think it favors them a little bit. So let's discuss Arsenal. And who better to discuss Arsenal than Mangane and Kelvin, your own team? I think we started to build out the team we think will start. I think undeniably it's going to be Raya in post. Right back is still up in the air.
Right back, yes, it's still up, but I think that yes, Mosquera stands a greater chance of starting there. And left back, obviously, I think that is also a fight between Hincapié and then Calafiori. Who gets the note?
Yes, so that's very interesting.
If Arteta is looking at opening up match, he'll go for Calafiori. But if he's looking at defensive solidity and, maintaining his shape, the team shape when they are defending, then he will stick with, the Ecuadorian centre-back who is now doubling up as a left-back for Arsenal. But in central defense, undeniably, the 2 big guys will be there. And then in central midfield, that is where there is also contention between Zubimendi and Miles Lewis-Kelly. Who starts? We know Declan Rice is...
Miles Lewis-Kelly got you to the final, though.
Yes. But, yes, Declan Rice is, how do you call it, indispensable. So he starts there. And now between Eze and then Martin Odegaard, who is Arteta going to pick? If he's looking at more control, he picks Odegaard.
I think if he's looking because he's the captain.
Exactly. If he's looking at sporadic, display and trying to get, some magical moment, he looks at Eberechi Eze. On the left-hand side, Leandro Trossard is much more disciplined player and offers a lot more in attack than what Gabriel Martinelli will give him. So he'll stick with him for that position. And especially when you know that Achraf Hakimi is also struggling to stay fit. He's yet to return to training after suffering that hamstring injury in the first leg thriller against Bayern Munich. So that is also a liability for PSG. We'll be getting into that team. But on the right-hand side, Bukayo Saka, undeniably. And then up front, between Victor Gyökeres and then Kai Havertz, we will get to see Arteta start. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if he surprises. Don't be surprised if he surprises everyone and then brings his favorite Merino to start the game. Because we've seen, we've seen drills.
He definitely can.
Yeah, we've seen
I
drills
just
where
think it'll be too
Merino
early for him.
is going through attacking drills as a center forward. And you know, Mikel
But
Merino has
he's
been
been
added
out
to
for
the
a
Spain team.
very long time.
He's back. He started the game. He played against Palace.
No, but he didn't even start the game. Like he doesn't have
Yes, but
enough minutes in
he's
his
played.
leg.
He's played with under 21 for quite some time. There's
That's
one
under
thing about
21, not the
Arsenal
same
players that
intensity and level as PSG in the Champions League final. Because perhaps the biggest game in the last
Arteta wouldn't care. Why
two.
don't I bring him? We cross the ball a lot more times. He battles with these guys. Then I bring on Gyökeres or Havertz.
I think he'll be a good option off the bench.
Well, let's see. But I think you don't be
especially
surprised.
with his fitness.
Yes, with his fitness.
Let's get into the tactical side of things, right? And how we think teams would play. I think Arsenal's obvious strength.
So let's look at the PSG. Should we look at the PSG?
The PSG team first.
The team first, then we get to. Or let's finish with Arsenal's strength before we would come and do PSG
Arsenal's
and then
strength.
counter.
Then we go into the PSG.
Yes, I think Arsenal's strength. Obviously, if you look at the lowest, do I say the best low block team.
My man no one talk the set piece, so you go.
I'll come to that. I just want to start.
I
just want to start from the defense.
Settled side.
I just want to start from the defense and how Arsenal plays. Good very
shape.
They are the best
strong defensive block,
mid block and low block team in Europe.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
I think you guys are elite out of possession when you are pressing, like out of possession structure. I think you guys are elite. It's very hard to play through you.
Exactly. So it's quite going to be a bit of a problem to see how PSG would break that line. But if you are looking for any team that can break, defensive lines like that, it can only be PSG with all the arsenals that they have. But it will be extremely difficult because we've seen teams, struggle against Arsenal this season. Bayern Munich, how they opened up the PSG team, it wasn't the same. They were able to open up the Arsenal team, and PSG would have a lot to think about how they can go through, that particular moment. And let's not forget, Vitinha himself is also battling with an injury. He's playing with a knock. So it may give Arsenal that opportunity in central midfield. Not too much. They have a tank in Declan Rice.
Vitinha will be fit though, because he's been rested. He didn't play the last couple of games for them.
Yes.
So the game against Lens, they didn't play. Against Paris FC, he didn't play as well.
Yeah. So
he should be fine.
Exactly. There's that thought. Now you go into Arsenal's midfield, and I think that for more control, Martin Odegaard, and we all know how Arsenal played in the second leg of the Champions League last season against PSG.
You guys played very well. I think you guys edged them in possession.
It was a game Martin Odegaard was phenomenal in creating chances. Just that I've always said it about his finishing and ability to make very prudent decisions in the final third. If he can make, prudent decisions, Arsenal should be able to, break PSG's team a lot more many times than they should be. If Eze is starting the game, then it will mean that a lot more of his dribbles will come in trying to win fouls in, that mid-third, transitioning into the final third of the pitch for Arsenal.
Tom, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there a world where Eze starts on the left ahead of Trossard?
He can do that because when Arsenal find out that Hakimi is not fit and is not starting,
Hakimi won't play. I don't think Hakimi will start the game.
Warren Zaïre-Emery shouldn't be too much for Eze not to get past. Because we all understand that midfielders and their tendencies playing at right back is always, a bit problematic. And we've seen that every now and then. You see, when you see Joshua Kimmich play at right back and midfield, you clearly sense the difference between that. When you see Matheus Nunes playing, even Nico O'Reilly, we all see the makeshift. When they play from, defense as a makeshift, it becomes a bit of a problem for them. So Arteta may be thinking, why not? Let me bring on Eze. We try to create a lot more, but he will also think about his defense because he needs someone to support the left back. Because PSG would have a very difficult player on the right-hand side of their attack, and he cannot afford to. So, and we all know how Arteta has been playing. And thanks to Gabriel Heinze, Arsenal think a lot more defensive than, ever before. So that is also another world that could start. Bukayo Saka, if he has his A game, he should be able to, he should be able to disturb, Nuno Mendes hasn't really.
To hear Mangana's thoughts before we get into the PSG. I think Mangana is just quietly.
Yeah, it's just quiet. Maybe let me finish it.
The Oracle is lining up.
Yes,
let's tell Oracle when he's done. So Oracle.
Yeah, so I think yes, Saka would be good enough there in that position, and we all know Nuno Mendes from his defensive strength from last season has been a bit, off the mark this season. So Saka can just, bank on the confidence he's gained from winning the Premier
But
League.
Saka hasn't been in stellar form either. It's been a very, very poor season from
exactly,
Saka.
but
his own standards, though.
But if a defender and an attacker are not having stellar seasons, which one is more, liable to making mistakes and errors for the other to capitalize? And we've seen moments. It only takes one moment for Saka to just, get something brilliant for Arsenal, and I think that he can just bank on that and get it. Up front, it's going to be difficult. So that is where Arsenal have their woes, they have their problems. If Victor Gyökeres is being used, I think that it helps them a lot more because of his power play. Now he's understood, how to play with the Arsenal teammates, the control and all that, inviting others into play. If he gets in there, a lot more of the scraps will fall for Arsenal. But if it's Kai Havertz, then Arsenal have to be a bit more meticulous with their passing because he may not be able to battle with, a Pacho like you would expect. And ultimately, Arsenal's biggest strength you can talk about after being a very good defensive side is the set pieces. So they will be looking a lot more at that. Safanov may not be as a giant as Donnarumma. So what do? Let's get a lot more corner kicks.
Put pressure on him.
And see how we can get goals.
Center
from
the ball. Marquinhos isn't the tallest. Pin him down. Gabriel fly from behind, right?
So I think that that is it now for Arsenal.
But Kelvin and Mangana, right?
Yeah,
Kelvin and Mangana. Contrary to what people think that Arsenal should be a solid defensive block and basically play like press from mid block and all that. I think Arsenal should rather go in and disrupt the play. Arsenal should actually disrupt PSG. Not give them time on the ball. They should hurry them. That's what I think. But I believe that if PSG get in their rhythm, they are more dangerous.
Arsenal,
but I think
the kind of play you are asking requires a certain level of fitness that you should have had for the whole
physicality. And Arsenal they have it.
Not the physicality. Like you see how PSG press.
Yeah, it's all part of the physicality. Yes. It's a subset of it.
Yes, Arsenal don't do that kind of play. They wait for you to come and then they squeeze the pitch to make sure that you don't have the spaces to play. You
go on.
Asking them to go and hunt a team like PSG, who almost all 11 players on the pitch are very good on the ball and can turn a player easily. Especially with their midfielders it's very difficult to get the ball off them. So if you are going to hunt a team like that and you have not played like that for long,
they have you open. They actually hunted Bayern and beat them 3-1.
Yes, but Bayern
I'm not sure if you remember that game.
PSG
they hunted Bayern and they beat them 3-1. Yes, they are slicker, but I think if you allow them to settle and have their rhythm, you are in trouble.
Yeah, but you can't. All I'm saying is Arsenal can't do that for 90 minutes. But
you don't need to do that for 90 minutes. You don't need to do that for
they would need to.
You don't need to do that for 90 minutes. No.
Against
you need
PSG,
to manage the game. You really don't need to. You can decide to go on the high in the first couple of minutes, see how the game is going, reduce the game to duels, win the 50-50, force them to go long and win those balls and win those second balls, right?
Yes, but you're saying that you think as you decided that, okay, I'm going to just hurry them and they're now going to make adjustments as well?
That's what I'm saying. They will be forced to play the long balls and then you win those the first and second balls from them. Again, you're a Premier League side playing against a French side.
Yes.
By physicality alone, you should be more like you should edge them.
If Arsenal play that way, they will create more spaces and PSG will carve them open.
I think that's Arsenal's best bet. In actual fact, over the course of 180 minutes last year when they met in the Champions League, Arsenal played better when they decided to hunt them. That was when they went to Park the Princess. Remember, Kelvin, when you guys went away, you lost 2-1. I think you guys played better. By your misses, you could have scored more than the goal that you guys scored. PSG were more clinical, and then they scored those 2 goals.
Which they still
Donnarumma was amazing. Yes, that was the game. Donnarumma was amazing that day.
Yeah,
he made incredible saves.
Brilliant
it's no longer... Yeah, it's no longer Donnarumma in post. I think Arsenal stands a better chance of getting something out of the game if they actually go on to hunt PSG, especially with Vitinha controlling from deep. Because Vitinha would always start from deep before he makes his way up front. And if you give him the chance to string the passes together, you are in trouble. Now they'll begin to create those 1v1s. And I think now they have the best 1v1 players in the world in attack. I think the only clubs that have better 1v1s would be Bayern Munich, Real Madrid on a good day and Lamine Yamal. That's it. I won't even say Barcelona, just Lamine Yamal from Barcelona. That's it.
Rafinha is not good 1v1.
Rafinha's best games for Barcelona have not been in 1v1s. It's him and being on the end of attacks. That's why he scored so many goals.
I say that's a 1v1 player.
I'm saying the best 1v1 players now, today, not what you've seen in the past in athletes. Today, Lamine Yamal, the Madrid boys, and the Bayern Munich wingers.
Anyway.
And for PSG, all three of them are very good 1v1. Right? And anyway. So what do you think, Mangana?
That's what I've been saying.
You think the opposite, they should rather sit and wait?
They should play the way they've played all season. It's not like sitting and waiting. They should play.
It's a one-off game. There's no second leg.
Relax. They should play their mid block, and when PSG get into their half, they drop back, constrict the spaces, and make sure that they are very maintain the spaces in between defenders and in between players. That PSG don't have the opportunity to have their players go 1v1. So if Kvaratskhelia is on the ball, the distances between the fullback and the winger are so close that Kvaratskhelia would have to pass other than have the freedom to take them on. And once they make those spaces compact and make it difficult for PSG to play, PSG will keep passing around the edge, because it can't really make
so
those...
So you see, Mangana.
Wait, you made your assessment.
You finish.
Relax. I gave you the time so that you could give...
You finish.
How you think they should play. So let me go. Yes. So they should construct the pack in that way. And then when they'll be able to take the ball off PSG when PSG are trying to penetrate, and then they can get them on the counter in transition. And then that is where Gyökeres was very good for Sporting in those areas. You have Saka, who has good pace. You have Trossard, who is also good V1 in terms of if he has to beat one defender or two, he can create those half a yard to make it the way for the shot. So they should just stick to how they've played all season, but they should just be more focused and what do you call it, and alert for the whole 90, because PSG, the minute you turn off 1 second or you think that you are in control, you are passing at the back and then they are trying to press, the moment you turn off a little and they jump onto one thing, they get the ball and they score you. That is it, because if you concede against them and you are trying to get a goal, you are going to open up, and then once the spaces are there, they will find them. Kvaratskhelia will find them. What's his name? Desiree Doué will take everyone on. Dembele, they would find the spaces and they will score the goals. So you need to stay compact. But I believe if Arsenal decide that they are going to hunt PSG, it's not going to end well for them, because they are going to create spaces that PSG will exploit, and if PSG gets an early goal, the game is over.
So, well, in as much as yes, I like what he's saying, but PSG have been a more porous side. They've conceded half of the goals they've scored this season in the Champions League, 44 goals, but they've conceded 22 times, and it clearly tells of the weakness at the back, and that is where Arsenal could capitalize on, because I think they are not too strong of the side we saw, like the side we saw last season.
So, Kelvin, one thing, let me explain a few concepts, right? You can be compact and press high. You can be compact and press in the middle block. You can be compact and press in a low block. Being compact doesn't prevent you from pressing high, mid, or low, right? Mm-hmm. So that's that. The spaces in between the lines could be the same. So that's one thing. The other piece is that one other reason why I think Arsenal needs to press, Arsenal needs to disrupt them and chase them, is because Arsenal aren't the best transition team. I don't remember the last time Arsenal scored a goal from a transition in the first place. I'm struggling to remember the last time I saw a goal from Arsenal through a transition. Arsenal, when in possession, actually want to build and score, right? Yeah. And with the way they play, with the way PSG plays, should Arsenal win the ball quickly, Arsenal stands a greater chance of actually creating a chance of scoring a goal. Mm-hmm. And the other piece is that it's very dangerous to allow PSG to get in rhythm. It's very, very dangerous. Should they get in rhythm, it's extremely dangerous. And I've seen Arsenal chase and hound PSG. And Arsenal were extremely brilliant on the day. The only reason why they lost was Donnarumma, and number 2, PSG were clinical on the day. That's it. So I strongly believe Arsenal stands a greater chance, actually, of winning by actually going on to disrupt them. Yeah. Because the key architect of PSG's game, they play deep. Remember, PSG play without a recognized number 10. Yeah. They don't play with a number 10, right? So unlike Atletico Madrid, who play a 4-4-2, right? So remember, against Atletico Madrid, this was a setter. As Luis Kelly was more of a ball carrier for us now. And Rice had a job to control Julian Alvarez and what's his name, Antoine Griezmann. Why?
Yeah.
Because both of them don't play as a typical number 9. Both of them want to drop deep, right? So Arsenal, what's his name, Declan Rice could serve as a screen for the central defense. PSG, on the other hand, they don't play with any recognized number 10. They play with their top 3 boys who rotate a lot. And then they play with 3 central midfielders who also rotate a lot, but play primarily from deeper areas. So if you allow those 3 boys, and if you want to add Zaire Emery as well, that will be 4 of them. If you allow them to begin to rotate and move, they can progress the ball, right? And then if you wait, in the middle block, you are literally pressing space. There's nobody there to mark or press. They rather send the ball to the sides where they can create 1v1s for Kvaratskhelia and Desiree Doué to hit you. So rather, why don't you seize the ball from them where they are and try to hit them quickly? And I think that's a good way for Arsenal to start. But before, I think we got into the tactical side of things without even discussing the potential PSG starting 11.
So PSG, I'm
Sofanov, right?
Yes, Sofanov.
Sofanov starts. And Nuno Mendes, we think would be at left back. Pacho, who had a monstrous semi-final, would play alongside Marquinhos, they've been keeping him in cotton throughout the season. They just bring him out for Champions League nights.
Yeah.
And right back, Hakimi is gone. We don't think Hakimi is going to play. He still hasn't trained yet.
Yeah, they'll be forced to put Warren Zaire Emery there.
Zaire Emery is going to play there. I think in their last game, they actually played Mayulu. Can you imagine?
Just to rest.
Mayulu played that right back.
Yeah, just to rest him. Just to rest the other players. Yeah.
Zaire Emery, right?
Yes, he plays there.
So the Portuguese duo would be in midfield, right?
Yes, Vitinha and then João Neves.
João Neves.
And then Fabian Ruiz joins them.
Fabian Ruiz would be there.
Yes.
Fabian Ruiz has had quite a,
not a so good season.
Yeah, but he really stepped up for them when he played in the semi-final against Bayern Munich. And then in attack, I think it picks itself. Bakola would be on the bench. It's most certainly going to be Ousmane Dembele leading the attack. He came off, remember, in the game against Lens because, he didn't want to risk it. He came off in the first half. And then it's going to be Kvaratskhelia, who was my man of the semi-final. And on the right is going to be Desiree Doué.
Yeah.
His idol is Neymar. Mm-hmm. So all the flicks and tricks that he does, he says he learned it from Neymar. Remember, they are a very good transition side. And I think against Bayern Munich, we saw a lot of that. Most of the goals that they scored were through transitions.
Yeah.
Most of the goals that they scored were through transitions. If I'm Arteta, one thing I'm going to tell the boys is, you know what? We need to employ the dark arts. Remember what Fernandinho used to do for Pep Guardiola?
Yeah.
To stop a counter-attack, what would you do? He would just cause a foul.
Exactly.
Remember, there is no second leg. We leave everything.
No. That's fine. Yeah, you leave everything.
Exactly. Leave everything on the pitch. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid at all to stop a counter-attack by making a foul. That's one thing I'll tell the boys. And I'm not sure what you guys make of that, to stop those quick transitions by PSG. And they did that a lot against Bayern Munich. Within 5-7 seconds, they are already in front of goal.
That is their greatest style, and that is their biggest asset. How to stop that. One thing that I feel Arsenal may have to contend with is Declan Rice being a lot more, defensive than Arteta putting him as an 8. Is the reason why I think that I side with you that he starts Miles Lewis-Kelly so that Rice would only be concentrated on how to stop PSG defensively, so that Miles Lewis-Kelly and the likes would do a lot more of the progressive work. Because if they are going to be on a transition, you need someone with that sort of tank, with that ability to make interceptions, blocks, and tackles without committing fouls. And I think that Rice does it better currently than any other,
And I think beyond that, right? Zubimendi is susceptible to really losing the ball in dangerous areas. Remember the goal you considered against Man United?
Yeah.
You were pressed, you lost that ball. And I think
he's
like that, I've forgotten.
He's a press
exactly.
trigger.
And I think, what's his name? Luis Enrique would want to do that. He would target him and press him to win the ball high up and quickly get a goal. Perhaps, I think Arteta would drop Zubimendi for this game. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Miles Lewis-Kelly together with
Declan Rice and then Martin.
Right, because PSG would target him and press him, because Arsenal would like to build and dictate and control with him if they want, if they play him. And if they do, they would press him. Dembele and Co would press. You know Dembele when he wants to press. And I don't think Arsenal should build from the back in this game.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal should go long and focus on winning the second and first balls. I think that's what they should do. And when they go long, they should target Marquinhos. Pacho is physical, he's tall. Marquinhos has good leap. But I think if you target him, you can get more change from him.
But you see, Marquinhos is so in.
It was Pacho.
Hurricane is not like what's his name?
The player who comes for physical battles.
Yes. He's more gritty. He's more.
Yeah, he comes for the physicality.
Hurricane won't put that, like Gyökeres will fight you for the position before the ball comes to lands, but Hurricane won't give you the same level of fight. So Gyökeres will make it more difficult for Marquinhos to try and defend the ball before it gets to you.
That's the benefit of playing in the championship, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. That's the benefit of playing the championship.
You have that physicality. Yep.
Yeah, it's a battle. Every strike is a battle. Exactly. The defenders are looking to literally kill you on the pitch.
So honestly, Arsenal stands a better chance of me playing without Zubimendi, chasing PSG, especially preventing them from building their rhythm. Now, the other key moment is, and I think we've talked about, you mentioned it, set pieces. PSG conceded a couple of set pieces against Bayern Munich. Remember the goal Upamecano scored? I'm trying to remember the other goals PSG scored. But do you think they're susceptible to set pieces, and do you think Arsenal could capitalize on that to get a goal or two?
Yes, I think that is where Arsenal need to capitalize on. Because if Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard, or Eze, or whoever plays from the flanks will not have an easy day trying to get back, because once you try to get the ball past the fullbacks, by that time you'll see João Neves and then Fabian Ruiz slotting in, or even the awareness and positional, brilliance of Marquinhos and Pacho cannot be also downplayed. Those two guys read the game quite better. And I think the best option for us now, just work your corner kicks. If Bukayo Saka thinks he cannot get past his man, why don't you win a lot more corner kicks? Because the suffer of impulse isn't the same as, Gianluigi Donnarumma.
He's not the most dominant.
Exactly. And we've seen him. Box. We've seen him. If the likes of Big Gabi, Saliba, and the likes are coming up for these balls, Hincapié, whether it's Calafiori, Mosquera, Arsenal, they, have, the men to just come up into the picture and then try to get the goals. And now they've even adopted a new style of when everyone thinks they are going to go deep, with a corner kick, they just decide to just pass it. Either they go the back post or they pass it. You go for a short one and then they try to work it around. And they've had about 2 or 3 goals from that in the last, moments of the season when they were struggling to score set pieces from the direct route by playing it either near post, in central, towards the goalkeeper's area, or at far post. So, just like I was saying, if your greatest strength, if you have one strength that has worked for you countless times, we've seen PSG trying to train against that. I don't know if you've seen videos of that. PSG, trying to work on the set pieces. It means they are working at it. So the only thing is,
they know it's an obvious weapon that they need to work against.
It means they are concerned. And when teams are overly concerned by defending that, you have that opportunity. Remember, I think it was early in the season when Manchester United played against Arsenal, they were thinking about set pieces. By the time they realized Arsenal used the same set piece to get a goal. So when teams get obsessed, with that kind of your strength, that is where you need to hit them hard.
But this is the Champions League final. Do you think that the Berlin-born Daniel Siber, who has been selected to officiate this game, would overlook Arsenal's theatrics?
Blatant obstruction. Blatant of the goalkeeper?
Yes, I was trying to be diplomatic here, Mangana. Blatant obstruction. Would you think he's going to overlook?
I think that won't fly in Europe. I think if they go with the set pieces where they are constantly looking to prevent the goalkeeper from being able to come off his line or try and jump for the ball, I think they'll get whistled for it more often than not. But if they do go with the approach where they do take a short corner to change the angle and then kind of put the defense in confusion on who is marking who, and then they have runners come in, then yes, they will have more success with that. Because it's something that has been talked about, and then the referees also know that it's going to be a bone of contention if it leads to a goal and then they feel like a foul was committed in there and it becomes uproar. So they'll be looking for all of those things. So Arsenal needs to be careful when it comes to those corner kicks that the intention is for someone to obstruct the goalkeeper. They will be looking to whistle if they feel that the goalkeeper is obstructed in any way, shape, or form. So I think the second phase set pieces would work better, where they take the short corner, put the defense in flux, and then when they put the ball in, they have more runners and people who are freer to attack it.
Yeah, cause chaos before they put the ball in the box. I mean, let's not forget, this referee isn't shy of showing the red card. He's refereed 9 games so far this season. He's shown 2 red cards. And for the Ghanaian faithful, the Ghanaians who listen to our pod, Daniel Sibe was the referee that officiated the game, the Ghana-Uruguay game at the 2022 World Cup, where we lost 2-0, unfortunately, to a Luis Suarez-inspired Uruguay. So heads up to the Arsenal fans. This man isn't shy of showing the red card.
But if you're looking at
the
only side that hasn't gotten a red card, it's Arsenal.
Wow.
It's Arsenal. In the Champions League. Zero red cards. PSG have 2 already.
They have 2 red cards already. So if anyone should be worried, it should be the Parisians.
Yeah. I think so.
So I think it's structure versus fluidity. The Arsenal structure, Arsenal's defensive organization.
Let's not forget, even with PSG,
structure.
Even with PSG, they haven't been too blessed with, do I say fluidity, like as we are saying. This season, they've actually struggled, though. Do you watch the French League?
You see, so that's the thing. They play a different team in the French League. The French League is for Zabarani and Berardo them, so it's for Lucas Hernandez them.
Zabani.
Yeah, Zabani won the French League, no. Yeah, the French League is like, they don't use their players. They leave it for Goncalo Ramos. They leave it for Mayulu. They don't play them. Look at the number of minutes the actual team have played. They don't play in the French League. So it's hard for you to use the French League as a yardstick to measure their form this season. Look at them in the Champions League. And in the Champions League, they always peak in January.
In the latter stages.
Yeah, in January, that's when they always peak. I remember when they lost
in the group stages.
When they lost against Bayern Munich at home in the group stages, they were laughing. Like the PSG team, they were very okay. They weren't perturbed. And lo and behold, they met in the semi-finals and they showed who's boss. So I think that they are fresher going into the final, but Arsenal have a very good physical edge. I always say that the Premiership teams, when they meet other teams in Europe, just based on physicality alone, they beat the other teams. So, Kelvin, really, and Mangan, I think it's structure versus fluidity. I think it's Arsenal's physicality against PSG's flair. I think when it comes to 1v1, PSG are more dominant. Arsenal are blessed that they're not going to face Hakimi, who's also, I think, a 4th attacker for them.
Yeah.
And then, first-time glory against PSG's bid to create a dynasty in Europe. And I think it's a worthy final. Both teams were in the semi-final last season. One eliminated the other. And we've seen the same teams now playing in the final. Arsenal have the opportunity to win it for the first time. PSG would like to create a dynasty. Predictions. I think Oracle will come to you last, right? Because your prediction is usually the one that comes to pass. Let's start with Kelvin. Kelvin, from your heart. Let's start from your heart before we go to from your mind.
From my heart, Arsenal is winning 2-1.
And from your mind?
From my mind,
being honest,
1-0,
analyzing this game.
1-0 and then penalties. Arsenal wins.
Penalties.
Arsenal win. The body and mind are one.
Yeah, Arsenal wins.
Arsenal win either way for Kelvin. I think it's closer than what people think it is. Some people think PSG might dismantle
even with
last
season, the results, they were very close.
Yeah, 2-1 and 1-0.
Yeah, very, very close.
And I think it's going to be the same. I think PSG wins 2-1.
Okay, true.
I think PSG wins 2-1.
Is Asari thinking the same?
The Oracle has already said something. I don't know what the exact score
that was banter. That was banter. It was to round the Arsenal fans up. We were like, it's going to be a very, very cagey affair because Arsenal are aware of how good PSG will be when they are in their flow. So Arsenal will try and break up that flow at all times. Make sure that the game is not like a basketball game going back and forth quickly. So I think the first goal is most important, and when that first goal comes, it's also very important. If PSG gets the first goal and it's in the early first 20 minutes, it might end 2-3-0. 2-3-1. But if Arsenal gets the goal first, then it will also be a more, a grueling final because it will be Arsenal not moving an inch and PSG just trying to break them down. So if Arsenal get the first goal, they should win. If PSG get the first goal, they will win. but I feel PSG will get the first goal.
What I
PSG,
do?
PSG will get listen.
Oracle.
PSG will get the first goal.
Mangana.
So this game is going to end PSG 2, Arsenal 0. I have to set it up. I have to cook the meal.
I don't think it's going to be as we saw last season where one team, was it?
No, it's not going to be a 5-0.
One-man show, 5-0. It's not going to happen. I think what's certain in this game, regardless of how the game ends, is that PSG will score a goal. That's what I'm certain on. What I'm thinking is that PSG will win the game 2-1. Should it not happen that way, regardless of what happens on the day, PSG still will score a goal. That's what I'm sure.
But I actually love to see penalty kicks. Like, I would love to see them go.
If it goes to penalty, I think Arsenal would win. I think Raya
will be inspired.
Yeah, Raya will be inspired. I think Raya will be inspired. I think, if it goes into
but
penalties,
keepers who don't necessarily are not necessarily marvelous, like keeping the goal. Some of them can be like spot kick specialists. They might, what's that guy's name? What's that Dutch guy's name? Dutch keeper's name? Crow. Yeah. They might have that.
Crow had a good Euros that season.
Prosper Ogum tried that over the weekend and it backfired.
I knew you were going to pull this guy. This man has suffered at the hands of Kelvin.
Oh, this one, no lie.
But yeah, I think 2-1 from me. I think Arsenal would put up a fight, a very good fight. I think it would be an interesting final, it would be a cagey affair. Both sides would respect each other. But I think it's going to be 2-1. Kelvin thinks Arsenal would win 2-1 or it's going to go to penalties. Arsenal still wins. Mangana thinks it's 2-0 PSG. Kelvin, the rest is probably for the 50-50 aficionados to decide.
Yeah. Everything will be left for them. But I think a quick one. Maybe let's quickly get into the Conference League.
The Conference League. Oh yes, that is very, very important.
Oliver Glasner.
Yes, it's farewell.
What do you think, Asai? Does he win this?
Oh, of course. I think he wins this, but people don't actually know that Rayo Vallecano has also been very good in the Conference League this season. They actually have conceded. They've both been very defensively solid in the Conference League. They've conceded the same number of goals and have the same number of clean sheets.
Wow, it's closer than people think it is.
Yes, the only difference is Crystal Palace have outscored almost everyone. I think they've scored 25 or 35 goals in the Conference League. And they also have an XG of 31.5. Like, going forward offensively, they are the superior team. But considering that they both have the same defensive record, tells how well Rayo can defend. If Rayo can defend and prevent the juggernaut striking force in the Conference League of Crystal Palace, then they can pick something. But Oliver Glasner has won was it the Europa he won with Frankfurt?
2 years ago with Frankfurt.
So he is a winner. He's won that, and he's got his team to the final with Crystal Palace. He won the FA Cup as well. He is not new to winning finals. He's not new to winning trophies. So I think they have the superior edge. I think they have the better players, and I think they will win the final. And I think it's going to be 2-0 as well.
It's closer because Rayo Vallecano haven't lost a game since 16th April when they played AEK Athens.
Yeah.
Since then, they've won most of those games, including the last 2 games where they won against Villarreal.
Yes.
They won away against Alaves.
Yes.
Right? But along the line, they went away to beat Strasbourg to actually get to the final. So I think they've been very good as well this season.
Throughout the final.
I think it's going to be a Mateta final. I think, this is like a full circle thing for him. He started his career, his own players, his own teammates mocked him when he said he was going to play for France one day. He mentioned Wilfred Zaha's name, remember?
Yeah.
That players like Wilfred Zaha mocked him when he said he was going to make it and play for France one day, and now he's going to the final. I think at the expense of Ekitike. I think he benefited from Ekitike's injury. But regardless, he's going to the final. It's a dream come true for him. And I think that this game is a full circle moment for him. I think he's going to score. He's going to win the game for Rayo Vallecano, and he's going to go
for
into the
Crystal
World Cup.
Palace.
Sorry, for Crystal Palace, and going to go into the World Cup with his head held up high.
Well, I think there's also interest. We may be talking about this, but Ghanaian interests will be thinking, yes, Abdul Momen.
Mumun.
Yes, Abdul Momen.
How many minutes has he played
Yeah,
since he got back?
Oh, I think he's been regular in the last couple of games for them.
Let's see.
He's been quite regular.
So the last game they played, let me see the last.
And they are managing him. Now, let's not forget that Crystal Palace also have the competition's top scorer, and Ismail Assar, 9 goals.
Ismail Assar, yeah.
And
he scored 2 goals this weekend, right?
Yes, but anyone who is expecting, do I say, a comfortable, game in Leipzig does not know right yet.
Yeah.
They've actually have a very spirited team. They don't give up easily. And let's not forget they are currently coached by Inigo Perez, who is a former Athletic Club, player. And they will be thinking, how do we get the better of this Crystal Palace team who, at times they don't look like it. Now, if you look at the team, I think that Dean Henderson will be in post and Klein right back, and the French centre back Maxence Lacroix will play.
Yeah.
With
what happened to the South American right wing back? What happened to him? Is he injured?
Munoz?
Yeah.
Munoz.
He's back. He hasn't really had a very good season. So Munoz plays. I think Munoz will play at left back. And then they would
Chris
have
Richards is still
ahead of the boy, the black boy, the English boy. What's his name? The English left wing back that plays for Crystal Palace. I'm blanking out on his name.
Tyre Mitchell. Yeah, Tyre Mitchell.
Yeah, is he injured or something?
I think Munoz will start ahead of him. He's not injured, but I think Munoz starts ahead of him. And they have Adam Wharton and Kamada. And
Adam Wharton.
So now he made
against you guys
this season. He's been using. So what he's been doing is this season a lot more times he's been playing with a 3-4-3 system. So Klein, Lacroix, Canvot stay a lot more defensively because Klein has gotten off the pace he usually had. So he plays more as a right centre back for them. And then they will have Munoz and Mitchell on either side of the 4-man midfield, with Adam Wharton and Daichi Kamada in there.
Yeah.
And
but
then
Adam Wharton went off against you guys with an ankle injury.
He should be back. I'm sure it was precautionary. It was precautionary.
All right.
Yes. So, but they are still hoping for good news on him. Now, Ismail Assar, Pino, and then Jean-Philippe Mateta will be leading the lines.
Jean-Philippe Mateta. Jeremy Pino also made the Spanish squad for the World
Cup. Yeah, I think it's
surprise.
No, we'll get
I'm not
that.
surprised. I'm not surprised.
There are some names on there.
I love the coach. I love some of these coaches because if you look at these players, they look like players who will give you what you need, bar the flamboyance, which everyone seems to be looking at. And this is let's not forget, De La Fuente is a man who doesn't care who you are, where you play.
Right.
All he thinks about is players who are going to make his
unless you play Real Madrid.
He dropped yes. He doesn't care about the Real Madrid players. Yeah, Real Madrid players, not any one of them.
He's had a horrible season.
Yes,
he's has no business being in the squad. But then you ask yourself, some players in there don't also deserve to be there. But we can get to that conversation
about that later. Yeah,
Carlos Queiroz has named the
Rayo Vallecano would have Batala, then they will have Ratiu, Lejeune, and then Chavaria. So at the moment, he's there. And they have Cis, the Senegalese, Cis.
Yeah.
In defense. In midfield, they have Oscar Valentin Lopez and then Issy Palazon. That guy, he causes a lot of trouble. Palazon in that midfield. With Garcia and then De Frutos.
De Frutos.
Yes.
Man, what does it mean, De Frutos?
I didn't take my Spanish class.
So, and then thankfully, they are welcoming Alvaro Garcia. So Alvaro Garcia is also, their second highest, the second highest Conference League scorer. So you just wait to see. But I think that Crystal Palace should be able to edge this one. They should just pick up notes from how Aston Villa managed to beat Freiburg, and then be a bit more dominant with the physical attributes, and then
that's what you have. Yeah, go for it.
The energy in the Premier League, and I think that Glasner, knowing he needs to leave them on a high. He's been at this stage before the Europa League, winning with Frankfurt, so he knows how to do this, and I'm sure in Leipzig he'll just be recounting memories of himself in Germany and get the win.
Interesting stuff. But before we leave, Carlos Queiroz named 28-man squad for the game against Wales. I think it mirrors what we are going to see at the World Cup. Inspired or not, I think we can get in that conversation when we actually do a deep dive into the World Cup squad in the next episode.
So no Deda, no Kudus Mohammed. I think that
no
is
Andre.
Yeah,
those were expected.
No Kudus.
No Kudus Mohammed.
Kudus. Yeah, the names, yes. We were expecting, but many were still thinking, how do they make it? Baba Rahman makes a return after deciding to absent himself from all the qualifiers and everything. He makes a return. And the Ajax boy, Reverson, the goalkeeper, has been
5
called,
goalkeepers, by the
5
way.
goalkeepers to be assessed. So the list is going to be cut short to 26. And I think that 2 of the goalkeepers will miss out. I'm not sure Carlos Queiroz will be doing the Martinez to pick 4 goalkeepers. But, it wouldn't be surprising. The Ghana technical team is made up of about 4 goalkeepers. Queiroz himself was a goalkeeper. Roger De Sa was a goalkeeper. The goalkeeper's trainer is a goalkeeper. And then there's Fatah Dauda too in there as well as the goalkeeper's trainer. So
4 for 4.
4 for 4.
All right, Kelvin.
We have to talk about the man of the hour.
All right, that one we leave it for you. So let us know. Ode to Bruno Fernandes by Mangana Nana Asari.
I think I've talked about him ad nauseum. Like, there's nothing else left to say about him.
Talk about him there. Talk about him there.
I don't know how someone did.
I like your accent. Say it again.
Forget it. So say
so it's a magnesium, was it there?
I say ad nauseum. Yes, like there's nothing else to say about the best player in the Premier League. And even in the final game, he showed why he's still the best player in the league. Like his passing, the chance creation, the goal scored. And I don't know if you have any of you watched the interview. He had an interview of a CEO with Sean Bartlett. Yeah. Like when he speaks about the game, the managers he's had, the influence on the team, all of these things, it just tells you what kind of leader, what kind of player he is. Bruno is just, if there was a perfect player, he is the perfect player. In terms of the kind of character you want in your dressing room, the kind of captain you want. Yeah, you might say he whinges a bit, but it's all part of the passion that he has for the club and the game. And the way he has produced this. And the funny thing is, people are now getting to understand or getting to appreciate Bruno, but he's been creating chances since. Like, he's not been doing anything that he's not been doing in these past years in Manchester United. It's just that in this season, he has had people around him who are converting the chances more, and it is having better impact on the team. This season, you had Cunha with 10 plus goals, Mbeumo 10 plus goals, Seshko 10 plus goals, and Casemiro 9 goals, like from all over the pitch. So you could see the impact. Unfortunately, in past United teams, he would create so many chances and still fall short because we had a lot of players just missing those chances. And Bruno is a one-of-one in the Premier League. I think they will do well to keep him happy and then put more impactful players around him in terms of in the middle. And when he gets those kind of players with him in the 10 and as durable of a player as he is, I think United, with Pep Guardiola out of the league, United have a chance, as do any of the other top sides. So Bruno, congratulations on a wonderful season, on breaking the assist record and standing alone with 21. And the funny thing is, we were talking about open play, and he decided that, just for the irony, I'll get the assist from a corner.
He's this man. It means you're more coming inside. Anyway, but Kelvin, before we go, a couple of shout outs to a few more Arsenal fans. I think we missed out on a couple of them last week when we had the episode. Congratulations again to Chichi Teknyako, that's his name. So congratulations to him. He's a big Arsenal fan. He's been following Arsenal for over 30 years. Wabrache, 22 years of pain and suffering. Congratulations to him. Also, congratulations to Atokwa Mena. Congratulations to Jason Jonah. Again, I'm blanking out on name. Congratulations to Adnan Aziz, Alaji. Congratulations to him. So many names. If I blank out on the name, apologies. I'm sorry. Jalal, congratulations to you. I just remembered. The names keep coming in and trickling in. Nanaya, congratulations again. Congratulations to all Arsenal fans. You've done the yeoman's job. You've been patient and you deserve this. Unfortunately, however, I don't think the Champions League final will go your way. But you've won more than enough. Celebrate your victory and let's come back.
All right, more than enough, saying. They've won more than enough, saying. They'll win again.
Oh, man is triggered.
They'll win again. They will win again. And that is how we are hopeful that Arsenal, by next week, the Gunners will be singing again, and it's going to be a red and white sea across the world in the rest of London. And that's where the story stands. On the edge of something unforgettable, from title celebrations still echoing the streets to European finals that could define generations, football will continuously remind us again why we watch, we argue, and why we believe. The trophies matter, but so do the moments, the people, and the emotions that come with them. We'll be back after the finals to break it all down. The glory, the heartbreak, and everything in between. For now, we can say thank you, and thank you for staying with us and for listening to the special edition of the 50-50 Football Podcast, hosted by myself, Kelvin Osu, as Akwekusa for Sadidi, and I am Ufa Mangana. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you listen to the pod, any podcast platform. Share it with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification button so you don't miss out on any of our episodes. Until next time, you need to stay tuned, stay passionate, and remember, as always, 50-50.